Christian. Chris. Chris. I do why automation be of na ya no the join call no now because no one has only who. Only ho. I should I know what said you only ho. Chris. Chris.
Boss.
Now I don't know who enjoy Anna. Why should that man automated AI not join call? No?
Oh, are they?
My body that 5 minutes in my can Chris. Bien female.
Then I'm in so be TV no. Nti na screen back on sound no.
Now my dream omo downsize your office no to near 6-7 desks. So see about 3. And omo ya ni say eno ma bi a yempe no ngrofo mfa. My fat screen monitor ni bi back there. Em say me no kra. It's open. Let's have a standing. Okay. Hello, Jesse.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning. It's very early morning in UK, isn't it?
Yes.
We lost 1 hour.
Yes, we.
Yeah. I don't think the people in Rwanda will be able to join because I don't think they know. They will probably come at the same time. Which is probably going to be 1 hour after this. Anyway, we need to move forward. Get this one out of the way. And yesterday we got to a point where we wanted to use a resource, AWS resource, to assume a role. First of all, we wanted to see if the resource, which we're using an EC2, specifically a Linux EC2, a Windows EC2, can access using command line interface, CLI, could access AWS S3 bucket. So we're able to create the Windows machine. We were able to connect to the Windows machine and install the AWS command line interface tool onto the machine. But as we said, the machine doesn't have any permissions to do anything even in the same AWS accounts that it belongs to. So today we're going to show you how to allow a machine or a resource sitting in an AWS account to access resources in that same AWS account. And then after that, we will look into allowing that machine to now access resources in another AWS account. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
Not sure.
Cool.
Don't think so.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen again and then show you this. Da, 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 da. So as you can see on my screen, we have this machine EC2, and we want it to be able to put on this hat. And when it does, it should be able to yeah, let's use this. It should be able to access this. I told you already, I don't know how to draw, so access this resource. So this is S3. I call it S3. Okay. So this machine using this role should be able to access this S3 bucket, okay, in this account. And then what we will do is, well, what we'll do is we will then have another S3 bucket, copy paste. Undo. Paste in this AWS account that we will allow this machine to also access, but it'll have to go through this. Okay, it'll have to go through this to be able to access that. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll get someone to create this better. But the idea is using this to access that. Same way it's going to use this to access that. Okay. But before it can use this one, it has to go through this one. Before it can use that one, it has to go through this one. All right, let's get going. So first, we need to log in into our AWS account. If you haven't already logged in, can you please log in into your own AWS account and start the server that we spun up yesterday. I need to rename this and put Windows there. Okay. Right. So I'm just going to start it. Or you go to Action Start Instance. And as I said earlier on, the IP address will be a new one. So you will need that one to be able to connect. Takes a while to start. Everything will be the same as yesterday. So the IP address is available now. What I'll do is I'll pick it up and go to my RDP. And this is it, isn't it? I'll edit this RDP. As you can see, I've got this. I'm going to edit it. And I'll put the IP address of the new machine. I think this is what was causing me problems yesterday. Let's use this one and see. Save and connect. And I'm in the machine. Okay, it's quite fast. And we'll go to command line, yeah? CMD. Command prompt. And yesterday, do we have the commands that we run? No. Okay. AWS S3 ls. It's the command that runs to check AWS. Here, it's talking about credentials and stuff. So the way AWS does it is that it checks in this machine. First, it checks if the machine has any role attached to the machine. If the machine has a role attached to it, it will use the credentials from the role. If not, it will try and find if there's any keys allocated in the AWS config file. And if it doesn't, then it will tell you this. Okay. So that's what's going on. We are not going to manually put access keys in this machine. We're just going to let it use an AWS IAM role. Okay. So we go to the machine and we give it a permission.
OP.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it looks like I've been able to install the AWS CLI, but when I type AWS S3LS, it gives me an error saying the term was not recognized.
Are you in command line or PowerShell?
PowerShell.
No. So I changed to CMD. Didn't you see? The document that I shared yesterday had that information in there. If you had read it well, it tells you to install using PowerShell, and later on it tells you to go to command line. Yeah, CMD. Jesse, are you having the same problem?
Not exactly.
AWS is not recognized as an internal or external command.
How did you install this?
I just entered the command, the msi exec.exe /i/https, that command.
No. Well, yesterday you weren't listening, Chris, at all. Did you go into the the GitHub WhatsApp and copied the link. In fact, can you share your screen? Go to WhatsApp. I put information there as to what you should do. Now, can you please click the link that we gave you on WhatsApp? This is not it. Okay. Well, I think this is it. Yeah. And at the top, let me see. Go to the top. Go up. Okay. Okay. And then what does it say? Okay. All right. Run that one. Let's see. What are you doing? Does it say put anything, run anything before? Remove. Okay, run it again. Now close this or this page. Close it. Do your eyes a bit. Close it. I didn't say open a new one. I said close the whole window. Close it. Close all. If you know too much, things will not work. Okay. Follow instructions. It says go and look for CMD. It didn't say run CMD from PowerShell. There are two different things. It didn't say run CMD from PowerShell. It said go and find CMD. Type CMD. No, it's at the top on your left. AWS S3LS. If we don't follow instructions, simple little instructions, it will take you 100 years to do things. We all know some people know things. Okay. Okay, they want to get to CMD, so I'll pass here and go. Everything works like that. AWS is not stupid. It said go to start and run search for CMD. Didn't say in shell, PowerShell, run CMD.
No, I didn't see that bit.
Okay, good. Thank you. Jesse, are you at the same level?
No, I'm having issues still. It's
Can
not
you share
picking
your screen too?
up. Shares. Just want to AWS S3 plus.
Okay. Oh yeah, yours is okay.
Okay.
This is the level you need to get to.
All right.
All right, cool. So basically, it's not configured because it's trying to use the credentials of the machine in the machine. So let's see. I'm going to continue. Let me share my screen again, and let's see what we can do. Okay. All right. So my machine is running, as you can see on AWS here. I've been able to connect to it, and we've done one or two things. Okay. Now, if I go to IAM, I have, and if I go to roles, I created a role that will allow me to go to Jesse, or this is a destination, Jesse coming into my account. I didn't create one for me going to Jesse's account. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to do that now. Let me see if I have Jesse's information. I should have it. All of this, one thing as well, is that Jesse to Bernard. Jesse, what's your account? Oh, this is your account, isn't it? Yeah. For now, for this purpose, I'm going to create a role and then give it admin, okay? I'll give it admin for now. I don't want us to waste too much time. So this role will go to okay, let me just create it like this. I'll make changes to it. Just want to get you to understand something quickly. I'll give it admin. And what I'll do is, which I will edit later, I'll say this role is going to be Bernard to Jesse. Yeah. So it's a source role. Okay. Bernard to Jesse. Okay. I am using an AWS. So this is the role. Where is it? There. Okay. What I can do is, even though it says EC2, AWS EC2, I can actually edit the trusted entity and add more so that it can also come to Jesse. So I haven't done that yet. I need to make sure that this role can also go to Jesse. Okay. But for now, I've just done it in a way that in this AWS account, like we said, this is a role that I've created. I'm going to assign that role to this. But currently, this role can only work in this AWS account. I haven't done anything to the role to be able to access Jesse's account. So I'm going to put this role on this EC2. So this EC2 more or less is going to put on this hat, okay? And the way you do it is you go to the EC2. Now that you've done the role, you go to EC2 and you go to actions, you go to instant, you go to security, and here it says modify role. I will then select a role, which is the source role that I've just created, and then update IAM role. Okay. So now this machine has put on that hat. It's just, we've just put on this hat. Okay. So this machine should be able to do anything this hat is permitted to do, which at the moment is admin. Everything in this AWS account, it can do everything. We gave it admin, didn't we? So it means that now that the machine, and if you go to security, you see that the role is attached to it here. You can see, okay. So now that this machine has put on this role, let's go back into the command line to see if the AWS S3 LS will work or not. Okay.
Sorry, Bernard, can I ask a question at this point?
Yes, please.
All right. So what you've done so far is to assign a role to this machine.
Yeah.
An admin role. And I'm just wondering, from a security point of view, after a while, you assign this role, assign that role, there is creep. We usually won't remember to unassign a role. So in AWS, can you say this role I'm assigning you is just for 1 hour, just for 1 day? And automatically it will lose that role when that time expires?
No. So when you assign a role to a resource in AWS, you can't have it timed. Okay, you can't have it timed. The session, however, can be timed, but whether the person still has the role or not is different. There is a way that you can automate the role being attached and the role being removed from the machine. But there's no way you can say, I'm giving you this role for 2 hours, and after 2 hours, remove the role, unless you do some work, okay? Which AWS has tools for you to do. So yes, you can achieve the purpose of what you're saying, but not from the IAM place. Yeah.
Okay. But that's something that AWS should implement. If you went to a hotel, they will give you a key card. All right, your checkout is 10 p.m. Tomorrow. 10 p.m. the key card will not work again. So the role, you will be able to get into that room. It's something that I think will be needed in AWS. All right, thank you.
All right, cool. We can look into it a bit more. Okay. Right. So we are hoping that AWS S3 LS should work now. Okay. And it works. Okay. It's not giving the error of credentials anymore. So this machine has gone into AWS S3 and it's listed all the buckets in this AWS account for me. And all I had to do was to give it a hat, put on a hat that has the permission to do this. Okay. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So this is one way of using a rule. And remember when I was telling you what I was telling you the other day about the fact that 1 minute. I was saying that the reason why I wanted to show you how you can use a role to access another role, okay? because this machine cannot go directly to this role. Well, it can, but you have to do you have to do things that are not good practice if you want this machine to access this role directly. So the best practice is create a role, let this machine put on that role, and then through that it can go here. Now this user was able to go directly to assume this role, but this EC2 will take on a role, and then that role will allow it to go to here. Okay, so now we have a role. This role doesn't have permission to go to Jesse's account at all. As you can see, we created that role here, and we didn't put anything in about Jesse. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do that, and you can do that here by editing this trusted trusted entity, trust relationship. Okay, it's trust relationship. We can edit it, and then we can add STS. Remember when we did STS? So we are saying that this role should be able to also assume a role. Okay. And then we can add the principal. We can say I am role, and then we put the role path. So Jesse, can you give me the role ARN of your, no, 1 minute. Let me see something. Let me cancel this. Cancel this. Jesse, can you give me your account?
Let me try. My account.
Yeah, your account ID.
Account ID. I'll put it on the chat. Where is the chat again? Oh. No. Coffee.
It's in this chat. So to find your account ID.
I've seen it.
Okay. Good. Okay, good. So we're saying that go to this account, allow this role to be able to go to this account. Well, that's all we're saying. We're giving it permission to say this role is allowed to go to this AWS account. Okay. So I added principal, isn't it? I just did. Why did it? Okay, it's there. No. Cancel. What happened there? I just need here. Okay. I think that's it. Let's update this. Now this policy is assume role policy may only specify okay, 1 minute cancel. Let me see. Right. This is when you just copy the and give it to and go and do your research. It's easy. Okay, so what we've done is we are saying that this machine is allowed to assume the EC2 role, okay, and also is also allowed to assume this role. Yeah. So let's try it again and see. AWS S3LS, it works. So we are in this AWS account. Now, Jesse, can you give me the role or share your screen and let's look at your role that you created for me.
Yeah.
Is that your account? Okay, because to go to IAM. Look, go to roles. Go to the one that says Bernard to Jesse. Yeah. Okay. Click on the trusted identity, a trust relationship tab, and that's my AWS account. So you're saying that I'm able to come if I use this role. Okay. So copy the role ARN for me. Okay. Now remember, when I was going to come into Jesse's account using what's it called, the console, when he gave me the link, which is the link to switch role console. Yeah. But this machine cannot use the console, so it has to use command line. Okay, so the machine also needs to go to Jesse's account, but it's going to use command line. Okay, so we're going to share the command line tool to do that. Okay. Okay. Now, when you assume a role, okay, so this is the command to assume a role. And this is so AWS STS assume role. And then you specify the role ARN that you're going to assume. Okay. And then you put the role name, which is this this one that I have shared, you have shared, which is here. It's going to be the role ARN. Yeah. So role ARN. Okay. And then you put your session name. So when Jesse is searching for who connected, what's the name on the session? Okay. So you put your session name. Okay. And I'll say Bernard to Jesse. And this is any name that you will put. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to assume role. Normally, to assume a role, you go from the console side. This is what we did. From the console side, this is what we did. You go to here, and then you say switch role. Okay, you say switch role. New role, and then you switch a role. Remember, it takes you to this page where it will ask you for the account that you want to go in, the role that you want to go in, and the display name. Okay, it's exactly the same, but we're using command line to do it. Yeah, so here is actually the role that you want to switch, the account name, and the session. Okay, that's more or less. And then, so basically when we enter, and if this machine has access to switch that role, which it has, what it will do is it will go to Jesse's account and go and get temporary. Jesse, this is it. Okay? So these are temporary credentials that your account has provided for this machine to use. Okay, so it's giving it access key ID, secret access key, and a session token. So it's saying that, okay, you are allowed to come to this AWS account. I'm going to give you things that you can use to come in. Okay. So what happens is when you assume a role, it gives you this. You're still not in the account yet. So if I do AWS S3 LS, I'm still not in your account. All I have is this information. It's saying that, okay, take these keys. Now I know you. You have the permission to come in. Take these keys whenever you come in. Use these keys. That's what's happened. So if you have a script that you would use, then you need to use these keys whenever you go in. And these keys will expire at this time. Okay. But I can get new keys anytime I want. All I have to do is run this command again, and I'll get new keys. The only time I will not get new keys is when you have removed the permission from AWS side. So that's the thing. So if I configure these keys, I can use it for up to this time. Yeah. Okay. Jesse, you have a question?
Yes, I do. So if before that time expires, somehow you have closed this screen and you don't have this, and you run that command again, will it give you the exact same keys you had, or will it be a new one?
Let's try it. So I run it again. So look at the key. This one ends with I2. The other one ends with F7. No, different keys each time. And the expiry date also changes. This one is 440 and this one is 3300. Okay.
So you have to revoke the previous one.
Sorry?
If you had a script that was running with the previous key, by running this command again and getting new set of keys, will you revoke this previous key?
I don't think so. I haven't tested it yet, but I don't think so. Because if I have a script that is running two processes, and one of them went and got these keys, the script needs to finish. Just because another process got a new set of keys doesn't mean that this logically, I think it shouldn't expire, but hey, you never know. So these are some things that we can test. Okay. Now, how do you use these keys in command line? That's another question. You've got it. How do you use it so that I can actually perform tasks in Jesse's account? Now, in Windows, you will Hey, DOS. So things are in here. We have AWS has these environment variables that are temporarily set. Okay. So what we need to do is to put these these tokens in that environment variable. Okay. Now we are going to run a simple DOS couple of commands. that will literally take the role and update our. So currently, if we echo AWS access key, look, so there's an environment variable that we can work on, which is this. And when we echo it, it doesn't have anything in it. Okay. What we want to do is to put these credentials in these environment variables that are set on this machine. And I'm hoping that both of you know what environment variables are. Okay. So according to my people, okay, we are going to run this set of commands, okay, to put these values in this environment variables. So it says that take information that you're going to get from running this command, okay, and put them into an output. Okay. So what I'll do is it says AWS STS, which is the same as this. I'll just copy this.
Where you said this command from? I think I missed it.
Sorry?
This /f.
Obviously we are not here to learn DOS. Okay, DOS. This is DOS. I'm just saying that we need to set these variables in the environment variable. You can use a script. So if I was using bash, I would use bash. If you could use Python to do it, you could use DOS to do it. I really don't want to go into DOS. So basically, there's
a repository somewhere where you have all these.
No. I'm using Gemini, AI. No, at the moment, you shouldn't. All you need to know is what I need to do. And I know that I need to set this in environment variables. So I ask for the how. You go and research the how. And that's one thing that you need to know. Or if it was someone who is very good at DOS, okay, they will write this on the fly. Yeah.
All right, thanks. Just wondered how it magically appeared. It's okay, thanks.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that you're asking questions. Yeah. If I was using bash, I would have actually shown you how I'm doing it and why I'm doing it. But this one, we're just going to copy and paste. In fact, I need to edit this command before I paste it. So I'll do it again. I'll do it here because I need to put the session in it before. Okay, so I'll do this. There's more of it anyway. So what I'll do is I will actually open a Notepad++. Okay. And we're going to edit this here. So this is the DOS script. Okay. What it's doing is that for is a loop. Everybody knows that. Okay. And it's going to go and find tokens and put them and then set them into an output variable. It's going to then go into the loop through that, and then remove. Obviously, it's using the delimiters here and all that, and then it's going to go and find the access ID, key ID, and set it to AWS key ID. Find the secret access key and set that to this, and also find the session token and set that to this. We can do this manually. All we have to do is, if we want to do it manually, is this. We can do this. Yeah. Let's do it manually so you understand. So we, as humans, we are going to go and find. So we're saying we want to set this access key ID to this variable. Okay. Want to set this is equal to that. So access key ID, this is it. Yeah. We want to set it to this. And I think it shouldn't have the, I don't know about those, but let's see. Copy. Can I copy from here? This is the problem, isn't it? Copy, paste. Yeah. Okay. So all the script is going to do is, I want to put this value into this environment variable and enter. Okay. Now, if we echo it again, it should be there now. That's it. We are putting the values in this environment variable. And what we are doing is we were doing it dynamically, which is we run this bash script and it will run. So basically, anytime you run it, it will do it. It will get you a new session and update this more or less. So let's do it manually first. I'll do the next one, which is set this to that. It's much better for you to understand it. So this is the secret access key, and this is the secret access key. I copy this without the copy, paste, enter. Okay. If I want to find out, I can echo it and see if it's there. And then I'm going to do for this session token as well. Set the session token to that. Okay, and this is the session token. Unfortunately, that's a long one, so it has to come to this here. Okay, copy and paste. And that's it. Okay, so if we echo these, we will find out that they are all set at the moment. Paste anyway. You see? So they are all set. In this variable, we put this. In that variable, we have put this. In this variable, we put this. Okay. Because of this, if we want now run AWS S3 LS, we should go directly to your AWS account because we have set these temporary credentials in the machine. Before it wasn't there, now we've set it. So it will look at the temporary credentials first. It will say, before AWS, there's the stages as to how AWS access resources in AWS account. The first is it will look at these environment variables and see if it has anything in them. If it does, it will use those. If it doesn't have anything in them, it will go to there's a configuration file that you can set in this machine with tokens and keys. It will go and check the file. If it finds that those file credentials in that file, it will use those one. If it checks these two and it doesn't have anything, it will then go and check if the machine has a role. And then if it has a role, it will use the tokens of the role. Get a token for the role and use it. Okay. So if I run AWS and I'm doing this and it could fail, AWS S3 LS, it should directly go to your account because we have set that. Okay. Okay. So when we came to your account, it found the role, but it says it's not authorized to list because no identity-based policy allowed list bucket roles in your account. Yeah. Destination role, Bernard to Jesse. It's not authorized. Jesse, go to your account and let's see. Can you share your screen? If this role does or doesn't have permission to list S3 buckets.
Oh, comment to showing my screen too again now. Okay, all right.
So go to the role and go to the permissions.
This is the role.
Permissions tab next to the trust relationship. Yeah. And click on that permission.
This particular one.
Yeah. That's the policy attached to it. It has full read. Okay. S3 read. Says while calling list bucket user. It's not authorized.
It was list you wanted.
Yeah. But full read should give list as well.
Okay. So resource star, is that no, it's all resources. There's no list here. So read doesn't, that full read doesn't allow list because it has listed all the permissions associated with read, isn't it?
It doesn't have list.
Can't see it.
Okay, go back to the role again. Go back to the role. Let's attach a new permission.
Well,
Then open the tab. Okay, yeah. So go back to the role again. So there's a tab, your web tab at the top. There's a, you open, yeah, that's the role, yeah. Add permissions, add permission. No, attach policy. So we're gonna add just add S3, AWS managed one. Give it full access for now. Click on full access. No, it's the third one. Yeah, don't select it and then add permission. So what we're doing is, okay, let's give it that permission and see if I'm actually in your account or not. It seems so. So an error occurred, access denied when calling list bucket operations. User this. Destination role Bernard to Jesse. It's not authorized to list bucket, no identity. Right, okay, let's try. Let's try again. Let me run the command again and see. Okay, it worked. So you see, I'm able to, I'm able to put on your hat, which is the process of putting the hat in your account on is this, setting these, getting these credentials and setting it in my machine. When I put on the hat, I can now start doing actions in AWS. One of the actions I wanted to do was to list all your buckets, okay? And because the hat that I put on doesn't have the necessary permissions to do that, it denied me, okay? But now that that permission has been allowed, it allowed me. The thing is, you don't have any buckets in S3. Go and, can you check again if you have any S3 buckets created? Because when I listed it, it gave me an empty list. But the permission issue is not there. I can create, because you give me full access, I can create a bucket now using a CLI. So if you share your screen again and go and check if you have any S3 buckets created or not, to confirm that we are actually in your AWS account.
I don't have any buckets.
Exactly. So yeah.
Let me create one.
Yeah, create one and say Bernard to test. Bernard to test, delete me now. That's normally what I do to buckets that I'm using to, and then I name it, delete me now. So next time I come to the account, I know that this bucket can be deleted. Delete now. Yeah. So next, yeah, go down. Don't add anything to it. Don't configure anything. Just click create at the bottom.
So there is a cost to this, is that right?
No. The name, it says bucket name must contain. No, yeah.
Sorry, you say there's no cost to it?
Nope. If nobody is accessing this bucket, you're not putting anything in it, there's no cost whatsoever to an empty S3 bucket that hasn't gotten used. However, if someone finds this bucket link.
Load malware and everything into it at my expense.
They can do a lot, but I don't think it's publicly accessible, is it? No. So we will do S3 bucket permissions and security later. But yeah, at the moment, I think your bucket is okay. Let me list it and then we can delete it after. I can actually delete it from here for you. Give me the bucket information. Click it and give me the bucket. Okay, I can find it. Let me share my screen. I can find it because I'm in your account, so I can do a lot of things. So now I'm listing S3 bucket again, and voila. Bernard Tividor delete me now. Let me delete this bucket, okay, from here because I have access. I have permissions to be able to do that. And then you will see that the role thing is working, okay. Let me delete this bucket. So I know that I can delete bucket. I don't have the commands in my head, so I'm going to research the commands, okay. It's always important to know what. Then you can research the how. If all you do every day is AWS S3, you will definitely know the commands, okay. But if all you need to know, as I said, what we are learning is what. You need to learn that, okay, you can list buckets, you can delete bucket using AWS CLI, you can do this, you can do that. All right, let's find the commands to delete this bucket. Okay. Okay, simple command. AWS S3 RM, okay, RM remove the bucket and the bucket name. And I want to remove recursive, means I want to remove everything that is also inside the bucket, okay, remove. And if I have permission, it will remove it. Just see, if you share your screen again and you go and check, the bucket has been removed. I'm using a machine sitting in my AWS account to perform actions on your AWS account. Okay, so refresh this page. Okay, so one thing as well for S3 buckets, AWS puts a marker, okay, and say I'm going to delete this. It's a security, it's gone. It's a security measure. It's not gone.
Info. Oh, okay. You should put a marker on it.
Okay, because the first one was to delete the first command was to delete everything in the bucket. Now I have another command that is actually going to delete the bucket itself. Okay.
So, can we try it again? Let me open the bucket and upload.
This
something.
bucket is gone. It's no longer there now.
All right.
So the bucket has been deleted. There was another command. It's not the RM. So the RM removes items in the bucket. And before you can delete an AWS bucket, S3 bucket, it cannot have things in it. When you removed everything out of it, then you can use another command, which is RB, remove bucket. And that will then delete the bucket completely. So if you go back to buckets and you list, your bucket shouldn't be there. Yeah. And then you refresh this page again, the bucket shouldn't be there. Should be gone. Yeah. Now, what we are trying to understand here, let me share my screen again, is that we are finishing with this. What we are trying to say is that we have an AWS account A. We call it source AWS account. And we have an AWS account B, destination AWS account. In the source AWS account, we have a machine or a resource. It could be anything. It could be a Redis, database, data warehouse server, Redis, that wants to copy files from S3 bucket. It could be, okay? Could be anything. So, but here we're using a Windows machine. When we created that Windows machine had no permissions whatsoever. Not even to do anything in its own AWS account that is sitting in, okay? So what we wanted to do is, okay, let's give this machine permissions to first be able to do things here, okay? So we created a role, and then we gave the role permissions to be able to do things in this AWS account. When we finished, we allowed this machine to put on this role, put it on, which is we attached it to it. As soon as we did that, this machine was able to then access and do things in this AWS account. And then what we did was, okay, can you also go to someone else's account and put on another hat? So what we did was, okay, this hat that you have on should also have permission to be able to put on another hat in someone else's account. So we configured this hat or this role in a way that that role was allowed to do this, to put this on. This role was allowing this machine to be able to put this role or this hat on, okay? So we did that. And in the end, we ran a command, an assume role command, to make sure that it can actually connect. And then we assumed role, we got credentials, and we set the credentials in the machine, and we then was able to access there. When we go here, we realize that this machine or this role doesn't have enough permissions to do some things that we wanted to do. So we had to give it more permissions, which then confirms that creating a role doesn't necessarily give you permissions. You need to attach permissions to this role, and that's where you use the AWS policies. Okay, so that's what we've done. I think we can put this role creation, role setup to bed. What we could do is next week we can come back and do some labs. So we do some labs, we continue the labs that we're doing. I'm going to download this video and I'll share with guys, and then we can do a step-by-step instructions, step-by-step, and then we can all perform these actions a couple of times, have those instructions written down so that everybody can do it, so it will be embedded in you. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, we'll stop here and come back next week.
And then don't forget to shut down our machines.
Yes, let's clean up. First, remove the permission from the role, the one that you added, okay? Second, I need to make sure that this is on set. So remember when we set these, we need to unset them, because as long as these values are there, any command I run will come to your AWS account. So I need to unset it. So how do I unset the variables we did in Windows DOS? Okay, it's just going to give me, so we set, and we echo. Okay, you just do it empty. That's it. Okay, so it says you just set it empty. So where it says set, I just remove this and I put empty. Oh, D is equal to empty. And then I go to this one. Okay, and I remove this to make it okay. In fact, let me copy and paste. It's giving me commands here. I'll just copy this and paste it there. Paste anyway. That's it. So now if we echo them again, it will not have anything in them. So that means the temporary credentials that we did are gone. It's not in the machine anymore. So if I do AWS S3 LS, so that's the assume role, we have removed it. I'm now back in my AWS account, no longer in Jesse's AWS account, because I've removed those credentials from the machine. Okay. And then I'm going to stop this machine for now, because next week we might need it when we're doing the task again. So I go to AWS and stop it. I'll only pay for the disk going forward. Okay. So go to there and stop this machine. Stop. Okay. And it's shutting down. Gone. You can also do all those as well. What I'll do is I'll download this video again, put it on, and then what we will all do, if we get time during the week, watch some of it, and we can do the step-by-step so that it will help us, something that we're all going to practice, or we can both watch it next week and do it together. What are the steps that we are going to follow if someone needs to practice this? All right. Right. From now onwards, it's your own AWS account. It's up to you to make sure that you're not paying any money. It's up to you that your roles don't have permissions because they are on the video. It's up to you to make your own AWS account secure. Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Chris, are you still here or you are sleeping now?
I'm still here.
Good. All right. Bye. You can leave the call now, Chris. I'm talking to you. Bye.
Bye.